Good afternoon. Good afternoon. If I could have your attention, please. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the business session of the North Carolina Bar Association annual meeting. My name is Jason Hensley. It is my honor to serve as the Executive Director of the Association and Foundation. Thank you all so much for being here today. We're going to begin with a special welcome to Asheville from Larry McDevitt, who is a past president of the Bar Association and a former mayor of Asheville. Larry?
Good afternoon. I'll have to confess to you that I was not asked to do a welcome. I asked to do it. And the reason is twofold. First of all, you know the havoc that's been wreaked on this community by Helene. And so many organizations have made reservations to have big meetings and so forth here, and have canceled, some at the last minute. Having my former mayor hat on, I think I've got some portfolio to speak for the community and say we appreciate Jason, Kim, the decision makers for keeping their word and coming to Asheville to have the annual meeting. Secondly, as far as Helene is concerned, I did not know until recently the depth of the participation of the North Carolina Bar Association in disaster relief and helping people. I've learned a lot since then. The Bar Association and the Bar Foundation, in cooperation with other entities, but have helped thousands of people in this community that needed it. They've touched their lives. They've, in many cases, saved their lives. I don't know of any other organization to which I've ever belonged that I'm prouder to be a member of than the North Carolina Bar Association because of the work that they've done. You've touched the lives of so many people, and in the process, touched my heart. Thank you. Welcome to town.
Thank you so much, Larry. It is now my pleasure to introduce Kim Stogner, the 130th President of the North Carolina Bar Association.
Thank you, Jason. Welcome, everyone. It is great to be with all of you today. I have always said Asheville is one of my favorite cities in North Carolina, and I'm just so pleased that we can gather here and enjoy just the beautiful mountains and this wonderful city. Before calling this meeting to order, I would like to recognize some special guests who are joining us this session. Please stand when I call your name. Chief Justice Paul Newby of the North Carolina Supreme Court and his wife, Megan. Former Chief Justice Sherry Beasley. Former Justice Bob Edmonds. And former Justice Barbara Jackson. The members of the North Carolina Court of Appeals who are in attendance, Judge Arrowood, Judge Hampson, Judge Murray. All members from our superior and district courts, please stand. and those from the Administrative Law Court. And any other members of the judiciary, please stand and be recognized. Okay, thank you. Anyone here from the North Carolina Council of State and the North Carolina Legislature, please stand. Secretary Marshall. Thank you, Secretary Marshall. I'd like to recognize Matt Smith, President of the North Carolina State Bar, and Peter Bolek, Executive Director. I'd also like to recognize all past presidents of the North Carolina Bar Association and Foundation in attendance. Please stand. I now call the business session of the North Carolina Bar Association annual meeting to order. At this time, I would like to thank all outgoing North Carolina Bar Association and Foundation officers, including Board of Governors and Board of Directors members, and section, division, and committee chairs. Thank you all for your amazing work this year as part of my leadership team. Please stand and be recognized. Thank you for bringing your leadership, ideas, and talents to help further the missions of the North Carolina Bar Association and the North Carolina Bar Foundation. And now I would like to welcome Board Member Larissa Mannion Mervin, Chair of the Nominations Committee, to provide the Nominations Committee report. Larissa will announce the Vice Presidents elected by the Board of Governors on Friday, April 4th, 2025.
Good afternoon. My name is Larissa Mannion Mervin. I'm the CEO at Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy and also had the great privilege of chairing the Nominations Committee this year. It's my honor to share with you the vice presidents who have been elected by the Board of Governors on Friday, April 4th, 2025, and will serve one-year terms in 2025-26. Judge David Dink Warren of the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Eastern District of North Carolina in Raleigh, Judge Joseph Crosswhite, North Carolina Superior Court in Statesville, Chief District Court Judge Christy Wilhelm of North Carolina District Court in Concord, and Dean Jeff Krause of the Associate Dean for Alumni and Development at Duke University School of Law. In addition, the Board of Governors also elected Judge Carlene Turrentine, North Carolina Office of the Administrative Hearings in Raleigh, who will serve a 3-year term as Vice President. At this time, I'd like to nominate the 7 members to the Board of Governors for 3-year terms beginning in 2025-26. Kayla Britt of Raleigh, Carrie Davis of Charlotte, Alicia Edwards of Greensboro, William Bain Jones Jr. of Salisbury, Aaron M. Locklear of Morrisville, Beth McKee of Sanford, and Tom Seegers of Raleigh. Thank you.
Thank you, Larissa. The list of the 7 nominees to the North Carolina Board of Governors was published to the membership on April 14th, 2025 in eBar. No additional nominees were submitted to the President following that publication. Therefore, the list of 7 nominees from the Nominations Committee is the slate to be voted upon at this meeting. Is there a motion these 7 nominees be elected unanimously by acclamation? Okay, there's a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Hearing none, congratulations, you're elected. Now I welcome to the podium my friend, immediate past president, Patty Ramser, chair of the Past Presidents Council.
Good afternoon. As President Stogner announced, my name is Patty Ramsor, and I'm honored to serve as the immediate past president of the association and foundation. As some of you know, in our bylaws, our past presidents have one very important duty. And here's what Article 5.2 of our bylaw says. All past presidents of this association shall constitute a special committee whose duty it shall be to nominate at each annual meeting a suitable member of the association for election as president-elect. Our bylaws further provide that as the immediate past president, I am charged with chairing this very rowdy committee. The work of the past presidents begins with a screening committee, which is made up of our 5 most immediate past presidents, one past president who served 10 to 20 years ago, and one past president who served 20 plus years ago. Ex officio members include our current president and our current president-elect. At the initial screening committee meeting this year, we had a thorough discussion of the current issues being faced by the legal profession, our association, and our communities. We also talked about all the great volunteers and leaders within our association who are doing amazing work with our staff to meet the needs of the legal profession and our community. As part of that, we talked about potential nominees for our president-elect position. So after our screening committee meeting, the past presidents convened as a whole to meet and discuss potential nominees for the president-elect position. And I'm excited to share with you all that the past presidents of our association, with a unanimous vote, are hereby nominating Beth Langley as our next president-elect for the North Carolina Bar Association and North Carolina Bar Foundation. Many of you know and have served alongside Beth, but let me tell you a little bit about her. And then you'll hear from 2 other individuals who will come forward to second her nomination. Beth is a partner with Brooks Pierce in Greensboro, where she focuses on complex employment and business litigation. Beth is a graduate of Wake Forest University and Wake Forest University School of Law. And as a graduate myself of Wake Forest School of Law, I find Beth's double deacon status very impressive. Perhaps even more impressive is Beth's true heart for service and her love for the association and the foundation. Within our organizations, Beth has served in numerous roles, wore numerous hats, and served our association and our foundation very well. As many of you know, Beth served on the Board of Governors and the Board of Directors from 2018 to 2021. Beth has also been a past chair of the Labor and Employment section, the Nominations Committee, and the Development Committee of the Foundation. Within our association, Beth has also served on Talent Development Committee, Audit and Finance Committee, the Dispute Resolution Committee, and I had to look this one up because this one goes back, the Administration of Justice Committee. But I want to tell you, even as we were in the hall before we came in here today, Beth asked, is it okay if I ask for donations for the annual fund? It gives you a very true picture of Beth's heart and how dedicated she is to our association and the foundation. For those of you who've had the good fortune of serving alongside Beth, you know that she shows up for meetings, she's always prepared, she listens intently, she's very intentional, she is careful with her words, and she treats everyone around her with respect. On a personal note, I will tell you that I first met Beth when I was a student at Wake Forest. Beth was an adjunct professor and taught my pretrial practice and procedure class. So although Beth was a fairly new lawyer at that point, even then she had a strong command of the subject, and I will assure you she was a very patient teacher. I pulled up the class description to make sure that I got this right, and Dean Klein can correct me if I am wrong on this, but in this class, working through a hypothetical case, Beth taught students about litigation strategy, case analysis, while practicing foundational lawyering skills, including drafting pleadings, motions, and discovery. Beth taught us about interviewing clients and witnesses in both formal and informal settings. She taught us about conducting oral arguments and engaging in mediated settlement conference. Beth graded my first summary judgment brief. Do you remember what grade you gave me, Beth? It was an A. So Beth has very good judgment. Beth cares deeply about this association and the foundation. She consistently demonstrates that, not just with her words, but through her actions, as she generously gives of her time and treasures. Beth has shown that she is uniquely qualified to lead the association and the foundation. So on behalf of the past presidents, I am honored to share that the past presidents nominate Beth Langley as our president-elect for the upcoming bar year. Next, I would like to call to the stage Kearns Davis to give her seconding comments.
Good afternoon. I knew of Beth Langley before I knew her personally. We were associates at different firms in Greensboro, and she was developing a reputation as a superb young lawyer. We had a case or two together over the years in which she lived up to that reputation. She was skillful, professional, and effective on behalf of her clients. For the last 7 years, I've had the privilege of being Beth's law partner at Brooks Pierce, and even to be just 2 offices apart from each other. We've worked on numerous matters together, and I've seen up close how she engages with clients, colleagues, and opponents alike. In the most difficult situations, Beth brings calm and confidence. She listens carefully, and she evaluates problems with patience and insight. She thinks strategically, understanding the motivations and interests of each party. She advises wisely, and she acts decisively. Beth's skill as a lawyer is matched by her talent as a leader. Both within our firm's employment group and on internal firm matters, she chairs our associates committee, which is one of the most difficult roles a partner can hold, guiding and overseeing their development toward partnership. And she is responsible both to them and to her partners, ensuring associates are prepared to effectively serve the firm and its clients. It's a role that depends on trust and communication. Not every decision she makes is popular. Not every message is welcome. But everyone who works with Beth knows that they can rely on her to evaluate each issue thoughtfully and carefully, to consider the effects on everyone involved, and to do the right thing. That is exactly what we need in a leader of our profession, particularly at this unique moment in time. Lawyers, judges, courts face pressures and stresses unlike any we've experienced before. To take them on requires wisdom, courage, determination, and the calm confidence to inspire trust and action. Beth Langley is that leader, and it is my privilege and my honor to second her nomination to be our president.
I'd like to recognize Clara Cottrell, who is going to come and give a second.
Good afternoon. I'm Clara Cottrell. I'm Assistant General Counsel of Compliance and Privacy at BASF Corporation. It's my honor to be here today to second the nomination of someone who has long been a guiding light in my personal and professional life, my dear friend, Beth Langley. Now, I should start by admitting something. Beth and I have never actually worked together. We've never had a case, never had a client. We have had some daycare deadlines. We did have some of those. But what we do share is something, of course, more enduring. Friendship rooted in mentorship, mutual respect, and a shared love of good conversation and good company. Now, we first met at Wake Forest Law School's Law Alumni Board that met at the Greenbrier, the summer after I graduated law school. It was just so exciting. There was so much to see, so much to take in. Now, of course, those who know me know I have never met a stranger. And as I was sitting there across from Beth at some reception or dinner, something, I just remember being so grateful that I was meeting her. She was warm and welcoming and wise. And I know that's quite an alliteration, but it's also quite appropriate. I knew I'd found someone special, someone who would become a constant presence in my life, and a person I could turn to with any question. She was always there, whether it was asking, where should we go to lunch today in Greensboro, or how to handle little boys. Her Wes is a little older than my Elliot. Beth is a kind of mentor who doesn't just offer advice, she offers perspective. And I think we have been hearing that today. We know that she listens with intention. We have heard her speak with clarity, and we have all seen her leading with grace. And she does all of this while juggling a full professional and personal life. Watching her navigate motherhood and leadership has been a masterclass. And I would say that today is a capstone. Beth's impact on the legal community is known. We have heard about it today. I was going to say what might be less visible is the quiet, steady way she lifts others up, but we have also heard about that today as well. She has mentored countless young lawyers, including me, specifically in the practice of law, but also as a role model for how to live with integrity and purpose. Just recently, I heard a story about how Beth showed up for a colleague during a particularly stressful time. This was not part of her job. This was not even someone who was a particularly close friend, but it's who she is. Remember, she is warm and welcoming and wise. So today, as she steps into the role of president-elect of the North Carolina Bar Association, I can think of no one more deserving. Beth brings not only experience and intellect to this role, but also heart, and probably more importantly, a sense of humor that reminds us all not to take ourselves too seriously. Beth, congratulations. I am so proud of you. I am grateful to call you my friend, and I am honored to second Beth's nomination.
Thank you, Kearns. Thank you, Clara. At this time, are there other nominations from the floor? Hearing none, is there a motion that Beth Langley be elected president-elect unanimously by acclamation? Is there a second? The motion has been properly made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Congratulations, Beth. You've been elected. Would the past presidents who are present please escort Beth Langley to the podium?
Folks, this is overwhelming. I just have to tell you, this is overwhelming. I am absolutely thrilled, beyond belief, to be your president-elect. This was never on my radar, and when Patty reached out to me a month or so ago, I truly thought she was calling me to talk about a case. Like, this must be something so important that we've got to meet in person. And she just blew me out of the water. Thank you all for your support, and thank you, past presidents. I'm so humbled by this. And Kearns and Clara and Patty, your words are way too kind, and I just appreciate you all so much. The foundation and the association are just near and dear to my heart. Always have been. They've been just such pillars for my professional career. And I have to believe that because you all are here, that you feel the same way. You know, as lawyers, we are blessed folks, and we have an obligation to continually improve not only our profession, but our communities. And the foundation and the association just provide the perfect mechanism for us to achieve that goal. Because you think what our stated mission is to make sure that there's access to justice, to focus on administration of justice, to continue our commitment to inclusivity and our dedication to making sure that we serve all people, no matter their background. And I commit to you that those guiding principles will be my focus. And I would be remiss without saying thank you in advance to Jason and all of the fantastic staff of the association and the foundation. I so look forward to working with you, and I am going to lean on all of you really heavily in the weeks and months, years to come. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Beth. We look forward to your service. I have known Beth since we were undergraduates together at Wake Forest University. I know that Beth will be an excellent leader for our organizations. Go Deeks. At this time, I would like to invite Young Lawyers Division Chair Collins Saint to come forward for the passing of the YLD gavel.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Colin Saint, and it's been my pleasure to serve as this year's chair of the NCBA Young Lawyers Division. As a point of personal privilege, I'd like to congratulate my law partner, Beth Langley, on this momentous occasion. Before I start their transition, I'd like to ask all past chairs of the YLD to line up in front of the stage, from earliest to most recent. This moment, this passing of the gavel, isn't just a ceremonial gesture. It is a reminder that none of us get here alone. We are part of a legacy, a living, breathing lineage of young lawyers who have each carried this division forward with grit, with vision, with heart. Each of you has left your mark on this division, on this profession, and on the people behind you. It is only right that you stand here with us as we welcome the next chapter of leadership. This year, we've moved with purpose. We've centered belonging, not as a buzzword, but as a principle, a mandate and a promise. As I close out this year, one that has been grounded in the theme of belonging with purpose, I've been reflecting on what it really means to lead well. Not just to get things done, but to move people forward. Not just to hold a title, but to hold space for new ideas, for new leaders, for those who have never seen themselves reflected in the profession before. And Sheila Spence embodies that kind of leadership. Sheila leads with a quiet strength, the kind that doesn't chase attention but commands respect. She listens before she speaks. She uplifts. She asks questions that reveal what matters most. And when she acts, she does so with intention, integrity, and an unshakable commitment to a profession that is more inclusive, more accessible, and more just. Her leadership has always reflected those values. But Sheila doesn't just imagine a better future, she builds it. I've had the privilege of seeing this firsthand in her early work as chair of our Legal Link Committee, where she helped open the door for middle and high school students to imagine themselves in this profession. Then I got to see it in her service as division director of the Law Student Division, where she worked to align the future of the profession with the values of justice and equity. I've seen it in the initiatives that she has sparked, from a salary survey that helps young lawyers, especially first-generation lawyers, advocate for fair compensation. And I've watched her lead our award-winning Section Spotlight series that broadens awareness of career paths in the law that often go unseen. Sheila's committed to carrying forward our Camp First Gen, a bold and joyful, transformative initiative designed to uplift those blazing trails through this profession with no map and no safety net. But what matters most is not the list of what Sheila has done. It is who she is. Sheila is a leader rooted in equity, a steward of belonging, a woman of purpose. And today, we don't ask her to fill big shoes. We invite her to stand on these strong shoulders. Sheila, this division is yours now to shape, to guide, to lead. It is my honor now to step down from this stage, take my place among those who came before, and pass you this gavel. And as you take this gavel into your hands, know this: each of us, we are all behind you. Not just those of us on the stage, but every young lawyer who sees themselves more clearly because of what you stand for. Congratulations, Sheila.
Kearns Davis, 2004, 2005.
Patty Ramsor, 2008, 2009.
Will Quick, 2021, 2022.
Jonathan Bode, 2023, 2024.
Colin Saint, 2024, 2025.
Congratulations, Sheila.
That's a big gavel. Thank you, Collins, for those very kind words. I'm Sheila Spence. I'm Senior Legal Counsel at JUMP, a wholly owned subsidiary of SAS in Cary, North Carolina. And I want to share with you all a very brief story. When I was just 9 years old, I dreamed of becoming a lawyer. Little did I know this dream would not only come true, but also lead me to surpass all of my goals. Today, I stand before you, honored and humbled to hold this historic position as the first Black woman chair of the Young Lawyers Division. Yeah. It's a big moment. This journey has been beyond my wildest dreams, and I'm grateful for the chance to lead and inspire this division. Like many young lawyers, I also faced significant challenges during my early career. Specifically, I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer during my 3L year at North Carolina Central School of Law. It was in that moment that tested my resilience and determination, but I didn't let that stop me from achieving my goals. With the support of mentors, friends, colleagues, loved ones, I managed to beat it. This experience, thank you. This experience taught me that there's no challenge too big or too small for me to face, and it helped to shape my path because, after all, practicing law should be a lot easier than anything else that I faced up until that point. Looking ahead, I envision a Young Lawyers Division that continues to break barriers and to advocate for diversity and inclusion. Together, we can create a legal community that is more equitable and just. I encourage each of you to get involved, to stay involved, to mentor young lawyers and law students, and to advocate for a positive change in our profession. Under the theme, my theme for this year, Breaking Barriers, I'm challenging young lawyers to help me break down the many barriers that we face. In addition to diversity and inclusion, there's also access to education, making sure that young lawyers and law students have access to scholarships and financial aid. Also, creating work-life balance. As young lawyers, we know that we're faced with working many hours, we're trying to start families. How do we create the balance between the two? In addition, I also want to focus on access to mentorship and networking, especially for our first generation lawyers. Many young lawyers, as myself, are first gen, and you may be the first person to even graduate college from your family. So providing access to other lawyers within our association would be one of my goals. And lastly, in regards to breaking barriers, my focus will be on staying up to date with technological advancements. Because after all, somebody has to ensure that AI won't replace us. I'm deeply grateful to my mentors, colleagues, friends, family, loved ones for their unwavering support. Your encouragement and guidance have been instrumental in my journey. And as my favorite artist, J. Cole, once said, there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours. Let this be a reminder to all of us to keep striving for our dreams and to believe in our potential. Thank you again for your support and trust, and together, let's continue to make history and to break barriers. Thank you.
Sheila, thanks so much for your remarks. We look forward to your leadership of YLD. At this time, I'd like to welcome Allison Constance up to the stage to present the Group Pro Bono Awards.
Good afternoon. My name is Allison Constance, and I serve as the co-chair of the NCBA Pro Bono Committee. I'm honored to present two of our 2025 Pro Bono Awards. These group awards are presented to organizations who made a profound impact in our communities this past year following Tropical Storm Helene. The first award is the Filling the Justice Gap Award. This award is presented to an attorney, law firm, or organization making innovative strides in providing legal services to close the legal services gap in North Carolina. This gap exists when clients of limited means do not qualify for free legal services and cannot afford to retain an attorney. This year's recipient of the Filling the Justice Gap Award is the NCBA Paralegal Division. The Paralegal Division plays a vital role in supporting attorneys and advancing access to justice across all 100 North Carolina counties. This year, the division has contributed a range of impactful pro bono initiatives, but the defining effort of this bar year is its partnership with the North Carolina Disaster Legal Services Program to support people affected by Tropical Storm Helene. Through a collaborative effort with the division's pro bono committee, a tailored case management system was developed and implemented, enabling volunteers to effectively coordinate and manage disaster relief cases. This initiative highlights the division's dedication to innovation, teamwork, and meaningful service in times of crisis. The work was led by an exceptional team of paralegals. Please come up as your name is called. Peggy Pardue. Katie Riddle. Rachel Royal. We have 3 folks who weren't able to attend, and that's Alicia Mitchell-Mercer, Yasmin Gadala, and Natalie Porter, and we celebrate them in their absence. As case managers and group leaders, this team has collectively overseen and supported more than 160 disaster relief cases through the North Carolina Bar Foundation's Disaster Legal Services Program. Congratulations. The second award I will present is the Outstanding Collaborative Pro Bono Award. This award is presented to a group of law firms or attorneys or a local district or statewide bar organization whose members have engaged in significant and notable legal services or have contributed outstanding support and assistance to the maintenance of pro bono legal services for low-income individuals. This award recognizes creativity in the provision of pro bono legal services, as well as innovative approaches to engage and encourage North Carolina attorneys to participate in pro bono legal services. This year's Outstanding Collaborative Award goes to the Disaster Legal Response coordinated between the following organizations: the NCBA Young Lawyers Division, Legal Aid of North Carolina, Pisgah Legal Services, the North Carolina Bar Foundation, the NCBA Paralegal Division, the North Carolina Pro Bono Resource Center, the ABA Young Lawyers Division, and FEMA. First is the NCBA Young Lawyers Division. The YLD has played a foundational role in DLS across North Carolina. In partnership with the other award recipients, the YLD led efforts to deliver aid to disaster survivors after federally declared emergencies. The YLD helped coordinate legal clinics, train volunteer attorneys, and ensure survivors could access help for housing, insurance disputes, public benefits, and more. The program grew into a nationally recognized model under the leadership of Brooke Savage and Brad Pyland, who served as statewide DLS coordinators. Their stewardship during events such as Tropical Storm Helene mobilized hundreds of attorneys across the state and established crucial relationships with emergency management. Under recent leadership, including YLD Chair Colin Saint, the division continued prioritizing access to justice with the Pro Bono Committee working collaboratively to expand services to strengthen statewide disaster response infrastructure. Here to accept the award on behalf of the YLD is Division Chair Colin Saint. Our next recipient is Pisgah Legal Services. Pisgah Legal Services is based in Western North Carolina and provides free civil legal aid to low-income residents in the region. After Tropical Storm Helene devastated the mountain communities, PLS launched its disaster recovery program to respond to urgent legal needs in areas often underserved. Staff and volunteers provided immediate legal help with FEMA appeals, housing issues, insurance disputes, and scams targeting survivors. The pro bono team at PLS coordinated more than 250 volunteer attorneys, including retired and out-of-state lawyers authorized to provide pro bono services, hosting clinics across the region to ensure accessibility. Julia Horrocks, managing attorney for pro bono and disaster recovery programs, and Katie Russell Miller, managing director of community engagement, led these efforts with strategic oversight and local engagement. Max Gibbons, pro bono services program director, contributed further by managing volunteer assignments and directly handling complex disaster-related litigation. Their collaboration with Legal Aid and the North Carolina Bar Foundation helped increase capacity and extend their impact throughout the region. Here to accept the award on behalf of Pisgah Legal Services is Executive Director Jackie Kiger. Next is the North Carolina Bar Foundation. The Bar Foundation has been a cornerstone of the state's legal community's response to Tropical Storm Helene, playing a central role in the Disaster Legal Services Partnership. By working closely with Legal Aid, the NCBA Young Lawyers Division, the ABA YLD, FEMA, Pisgah Legal Services, and the North Carolina Pro Bono Resource Center, the foundation helped recruit over 1,600 volunteer legal professionals and support more than 330 clients with pressing legal needs through remote referrals and in-person clinics. From housing and FEMA appeals to consumer and benefits issues, the foundation's leadership ensured that survivors had access to legal professionals when it mattered most. Through outreach, volunteer mobilization, and educational resources, the Bar Foundation exemplified its mission of uniting the power of law with the power of purpose, uniting the talent and generosity of our profession to be a power of greater good for the people of North Carolina. Thank you to the North Carolina Bar Foundation staff, Kim Bart-Mulliken, Alex Rogers, and Bianca Simmons for your support of this effort. Next is the North Carolina Pro Bono Resource Center. The Pro Bono Resource Center connects legal professionals to volunteer opportunities addressing critical legal needs. The Pro Bono Resource Center supports DLS and other statewide projects by recruiting and equipping pro bono attorneys, coordinating training, and offering technical assistance to partners. Sylvia Novinsky, director of the Pro Bono Resource Center, is unable to join us today, but we celebrate her contributions in her absence. Next is the NCBA Paralegal Division. The Paralegal Division, as you've already heard, plays a vital role in supporting attorneys and advancing access to justice across all 100 counties. This year, the division created a tailored case management system and took the lead on coordinating and managing referrals for disaster relief. Here to accept the award on behalf of the North Carolina Bar Association Paralegal Division is Division Chair Alice Johnson. Next is Legal Aid of North Carolina. Legal Aid of North Carolina is a statewide nonprofit providing civil legal services to low-income individuals across all 100 counties. I am honored myself to be a part of Legal Aid of North Carolina. Following Tropical Storm Helene, Legal Aid played a central role in the DLS partnership, managing the helpline, conducting intakes, supporting in-person clinics, and offering direct legal services to disaster-affected clients. Multiple units, including the Disaster Relief Project, the Pro Bono team, our Central Intake Unit, our Asheville office, Foothills office, High Country, and Silva offices worked in tandem to meet survivor needs. Their efforts were further empowered by a coordinated case management system developed in partnership with the North Carolina Bar Association and Foundation, allowing for smoother referrals and tracking of complex cases. Legal Aid staff has handled 545 cases related to Helene recovery, many with the help of volunteers, and also facilitated 160 remote referrals to the NCBA for pro bono support, reflecting an enduring commitment to justice and community recovery. Here to accept the award on behalf of Legal Aid of North Carolina is Alicia Edwards, Disaster Relief Project Director. Also, I myself am honored to be a part of this team. Next is the American Bar Association. The American Bar Association plays a pivotal role in national disaster legal response through its Disaster Legal Services program with the YLD. Amanda Brown, Executive Director of Lagniappe Law Lab, currently serves as Director of ABA YLD's DLS program. A leader in legal technology and innovation, Amanda has helped shape national DLS strategy through her work with triage portals, legal navigation tools, and direct disaster response. Her contributions, even from Louisiana, have strengthened coordination between national and local partners, including us in North Carolina, enabling efficient and scalable service delivery in times of crisis. Amanda Brown is unable to join us today. Here accepting the award on her behalf is Brooke Savage. Last but not least, FEMA has been a foundational partner in the success of disaster legal services across the country, and especially here at home in North Carolina. Through its individual assistance program, FEMA collaborates with the legal community to make civil legal aid accessible to disaster survivors. Staff members such as Barbara Sadhana, Tammy Lynn Barajas, and Dory Duran have brought decades of experience in emergency management and survivor services, helping bridge the gap between legal aid and federal assistance. From managing field deployments to identifying systemic issues in aid delivery and answering our many, many questions, FEMA's DLS liaisons work hand in hand with local legal providers to ensure timely, effective support. Their commitment to coordination, innovation, and compassion reflects FEMA's mission to help communities recover and rebuild with dignity. Here accepting the award on behalf of FEMA is Dory Durant. On behalf of the Pro Bono Committee, congratulations to all of our award winners, and thank you for all the important pro bono work you've done to support disaster survivors this year.
Thank you, Allison, and I think it's appropriate that we give our award winners one more round of applause. Your work is truly making a difference in our community. We heard about this very poignantly in this morning's program. Now, I'd like to invite Chief Justice Paul Newby to come forward to share a message regarding the judiciary. Paul Martin Newby is the 30th Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of North Carolina. Chief Justice Newby was first elected to the Supreme Court as an Associate Justice in 2004 and was elevated to the highest judicial office in North Carolina in the 2020 election. In addition to his service on the court, Chief Justice Newby is an adjunct professor at Campbell University School of Law, where he was recently recognized as Adjunct Professor of the Year. He's the co-author of the North Carolina State Constitution with History and Commentary with Professor John V. Orth of the University of North Carolina School of Law. Chief Justice Newby is the recipient of the NCBA John McNeil Smith Jr. Constitutional Rights and Responsibilities Section Award. Chief Justice Newby has been married to Macon Tucker Newby since 19 just feels like a day, right? Since 1983, and they have 4 children. We are honored to receive your message, Chief Justice Newby.
I certainly look like I've been married since 1873, 83. Now, let's move on. The night of September 27th will be in all of our minds for a long time. Macon and I watched what the hurricane progression was going to be. We prayed for our friends in Western North Carolina, the folks there, knowing that unlike the East, where the rain often is absorbed in the sandy soil, it was going to hit rock. And when it hits rock, it doesn't go through, it moves on. We knew that the potential consequences could have been devastating to some degree. It had been raining a whole week with the bands of Helene that had made their way forward. But little did we know, any of us know, that it would be a tropical storm, hurricane, beyond that which anybody had ever seen before, and none of us will ever see again. I got a phone call Saturday morning from my chief district court judge, Calvin Hill. Early Saturday morning, he called me. He said, Chief, I'm calling you from the Buncombe County Jail. That's not a good way to start a conversation, okay? Chief Judge, what's going on? He said, we don't have water. We don't have sewer. There are 500 plus people in the Buncombe County Jail. They don't have any facilities to make this a sanitary condition. I need you to order 25 porta potties. I said, all right, I can do that. He said, I'm holding a hearing for each individual that is here to see if I can safely release them to the community. That type of judicial leadership is the thing that I admire and aspire to for myself and our other judicial leaders. Unmindful of his own personal circumstances, first thing in the morning, he's at the Buncombe County Jail trying to make things better. I got a call later in the week. We immediately entered orders allowing, I think there were 26 counties in the original order that we made sure that there were no adverse consequences to missed deadlines, things like that. On the one hand, we saw the benefit of e-courts, and I put benefits and e-court in the sentence together at the same time, all right? One of the deputy or assistant clerks here in Buncombe County had lost her home. She had gone to live with some of her relatives in Kansas, but she was able to continue to work because Buncombe County had all their file storage in the cloud. And so she was able to continue to work. On the other hand, we had to scramble to save any records that we could in Madison County, where that picturesque courthouse that's up on a hill with the river down below, not only did the water reach that courthouse on the hill, it went up 5 feet inside the courthouse. It was possible that we were going to lose all of those records. It's not just water, folks. It's all kinds of gunk. That's a technical word. I mean, it was terrible, and Director Boyce at AOC did all he could to get folks in there immediately to save those records because those were the court files. That's what we had. That week, I got another call from Judge Hill saying, Judge, Chief Justice, I think we can open up the Buncombe County Courthouse. I said, well, that's amazing. He said, yeah, the new section is one that we think we can open up. So they opened it up. A couple of days later, he calls me back. He said, I think we're going to have to shut it down. I said, why? What's going on? He said, we put signs on all the bathrooms that said, no running water, do not use. And apparently, everybody in the courthouse thought that that applied to everyone but themselves. And Chief, it's a mess. It's going to cost this much money for us to get it cleaned up, and I'm not sure where we're going to find that. And I said, well, keep me posted. Do the best you can. We'll coordinate with AOC to see what we can do. He called me back. He said, good news. I found some yuck busters to go in there and clean up all the bathrooms. So we got that fixed. But bad news, the fire marshal says because we don't have sprinkler systems that'll work, we can't have people in the courthouse without a sprinkler system. But don't give up. We're working on it. We're working with the county commissioners. We're working with city council. We're working with everybody that we need to. So then he calls me back and he says, good news, senior resident Alan Thornburg came up with this idea of putting an app on every employee's phone that all they have to do is press one button on their cell phones and it calls the fire department, and the fire marshal has said that's okay. That is incredible leadership and incredible dedication. And why? Our state constitution says the courts shall be open and justice will be administered without favor, without denial, without delay. And these judicial officials, our clerks, our not just elected folks, but the folks in the courthouse, magistrates, bailiffs, court reporters, everybody was going above and beyond to be sure that Buncombe County and all the other counties of the West would be open so that justice could be rendered in the various cases. AOC immediately came in with satellite service for those that did not have what I would call landline access to the internet. The first order that we entered was a 2-week order for 26 counties. The next order we entered was a 2-week order for 13 counties, and within a month, every courthouse, including Madison County, they had relocated to their ag center. Every courthouse was up and running. What a tribute, I believe, that is to our judicial branch. We did lose a couple of, we lost a bailiff and we lost a sheriff's deputy, one in Madison County, one in Macon County. 2 of the 107 plus, we'll never know for sure just how devastating this flood was. Macon and I had the opportunity last week to go with Judge Thornburg and the fire chief from Swannanoa to go out and see some of the areas that are still trying to recover. In some places, little communities have washed away. In other places, we were with down in Fairview area, which is southeast of Asheville, and they had mudslides that occurred. Macon was talking with this one young lady. She was telling us that she had gone to the fire department, fire station that morning to carry them biscuits. And while she was there, 1.5 miles up the mountain, it began to mudslide. And as it came down the mountain, it gathered steam and mud and trees and houses and everything else in its way. And her house was gone. But that was the first mudslide. There were 3. And while they went out after the first mudslide to see what could be done, the second mudslide, she ended up losing 11 family members. 11 family members. That little community will never be rebuilt unless folks get the kind of aid that they need. And yet, resiliency, my goodness. We were so blessed by person after person that we talked to that are encouraging and optimistic. Larry McDevitt, one of my mentors at the Van Winkle firm where I worked when I first started practicing, mentioned today one of our former practitioners here in Asheville, Michael Dry, who he, his wife, and daughter and grandson went to his law office along the Swannanoa River, which when I was living up here, it's kind of like Swannanoa Creek. It wasn't all that big. And lo and behold, the whole building was swept away, and only his daughter survived in that. Thank y'all for all that you've done. Thank you, the Bar Foundation, all the award recipients. The state bar folks immediately got to us, to the Supreme Court, some orders to where we could have out-of-state attorneys volunteer because we knew that there'd be so many folks here that would need legal assistance to navigate what we believed and certainly has proved to be a very difficult pathway. So these 500 plus, I don't know that we've ever had that many. Peter, thank you for your great work. Matt, we appreciate you, and Todd Brown and all the leadership at the State Bar to allow us to get that done. And then Pisgah Legal Services, all that you did to coordinate all the volunteer efforts. We know that these things don't just happen. It takes some intentionality. So we are certainly grateful for that. While Macon and I were here last week, in addition, so sometimes miracles can happen. Last week, for the first time in the history of the judicial branch, the Superior Court judges and the District Court judges met in the same city. Never happened before, but we insisted it be done in Asheville because just like Mayor McDevitt said, anything we can do in this community, we certainly encourage that. Y'all going to have some time off this afternoon. Tops is a great place for shoes. Larry, any place else I need to recommend they go shopping? Anyway, we just so admire the resiliency of Western North Carolina. Our state constitution, in addition to Article 1, Section 18, has Article 1, Section 1. It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All of us are created equal, endowed by our Creator, endowed by God with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We added to that the fruit of the labor. Yes, Thomas Jefferson, we can improve even on what you said. And as we think about those fundamental rights, I remind folks in our courthouses to be sure everybody's treated with dignity and respect and honor. We're all created in the image of God. Macon used to volunteer in the prisons, and she said, but for God's grace, there go I. And, just to be sure, being in court for folks, y'all are going to be shocked about this, but it's not a fun experience. I mean, the only people I know that get excited about going to court are prospective jurors, right? You've never had a friend say, hey, can you get me out of jury duty, right? So I get that phone call and I say, well, let's talk about a minute. I said, what percentage of the world do you think have jury trials? Well, I don't know. It's 10% have jury trials. 90% have judge trials. Guess where the corruption is? It's in the 90%. Don't you think juries are a good thing? And if you had a trial, wouldn't you want somebody just like yourself to be on the jury? And by then they've hung up. They don't want to hear anymore. But we're very blessed to have the legal system that we have. But as Macon and I have toured all 100 courthouses, we're on our second go-around. We're at 101. Where's anybody from Guilford County? Thank you for the 2 courthouses there. But Kearns, we appreciate that. Kearns thinks he's gone out, into the country when he goes to High Point to try a case out of Greensboro. But, every county is different. I tell folks at AOC, they used to be known for, well, we're from the Administrative Office of the Courts. We're in Raleigh. We're going to help you, which means we're going to tell you what to do. And I said, no, I want you to be the Chick-fil-A of state government. I want you to say, we're here to serve you. Answer is yes. What can we do to help you? Because we do all the technology across the state. We are the Sam's Club. We go out and buy stuff. And we're Amazon. We deliver 24/7, paper pens, paper clips, all that kind of thing. And AOC is there to serve. But in the courthouses, it's tough on everybody that's there. And my hope, my prayer, is that everybody can be kind. Certainly, as I learned to practice law up here in Asheville, I saw that. I saw attorneys that would have cases routinely against each other, eating lunch and enjoying the fellowship. And I hope that we can maybe one day reclaim some of that civility in our practices. Backlog. The good news for us is, I'm already out of time. I'm glad y'all don't have lights up here like the Supreme Court, and red means for me to sit down and shut up. But anyway, we're 15% better than we were pre-COVID. We have judicial resources. We're sending them to places where we can help out. We look at where are the backlogs, civil, criminal, and we are deploying our resources. If you were fortunate enough to have a petition granted today, is it past noon? Yep. Noon at the Supreme Court, if you had a petition granted, don't ask for a continuance. We're totally caught up with our cases there. If nobody gets a continuance between now and October, we'll hear our 40 cases. We're shooting for 80 cases a year. That's kind of a sweet spot, I think, for the Supreme Court. And I'm grateful we've been able to do that. One of the initiatives we have is that one judge, one case in family court. People expect that. People are going through heart-rending situations, and they show up in court and they see one judge, and then they show up the next month and they see another judge. That just doesn't seem to be justice. So we have worked that there's one judge, one case with regard to family court issues. H&I felonies, well, what does that have to do with the administration of justice? It has a lot. We're doing H&I felonies in district court. Why not Superior Court? Because not every county every week has Superior Court, but they all have district court. And so we do H&I felonies. These are low-level felonies. The folks are generally going to get probation. They need to not be in jail. Every day they're in jail, their probability of their losing their family, their job, their Medicaid, everything goes up for every day they're in jail. The whole idea is to get them out, back in the community, and hopefully on the right path very quickly. So we're doing H&I felonies in district court. Adverse childhood experiences have really helped me better understand ACEs, better understand how we can serve the criminal justice system in our state. 98% of the people in prison today have an ACEs score of 4 or more. What does that mean? Have you ever, as a child, grown up, were you abused? Growing up, Did you ever have fear where your next meal might come from? Did you wonder where you were going to spend the next night? There are 10 questions on the survey. If you get 4 out of 10, okay, we need to target, we need to focus on giving you the help that you need. Young children are not able to process that kind of stuff. They may be the victim of a crime in the traditional sense, but they also could be a victim by being a witness to a crime. Well, how can we address that? The whole idea is to see folks that need counseling, that need encouragement, that need other types of aid, to get those to them quickly. So certainly we are working with that. We have developed where we have training for our judges. We have ACES Informed Court that we have developed for all the, it's a little bench handout for the judges to remind them that these are traumatic experiences, particularly if the kids start showing up in juvenile court. We've developed little programs to help younger children understand the process of being in court. We have courtrooms that are more children-friendly. We're trying to better assess how do we deal with younger children and others that have these adverse childhood experiences. One of the things we're working on treatment courts. We've increased the number of treatment courts by about 70%. Funding often is a combination of county and state funds. We're able to work with the County Commissioners Association with regard to providing opioid settlement money to help support some of these treatment courts. So we're continuing to look at ways to provide counseling. We were working with DHHS recently, and they have come up with a way to do counseling. See, often the parent is out working, trying to earn a living, and they can't get their kid to the counseling session. So we work with DPI, trying to get that through their public school time, or try to get it through the use of virtual counseling. Safe Baby Courts is a pilot project where we're putting a lot of resources, just like in recovery court, where you've got all the counselors and that type of thing, but you're doing it right after the child's born. You have the biological mother, the biological daddy, if he wants to be involved, trying to figure out, can these folks parent? Is there a relative? But doing it quickly, doing it within the first year. That's being innovated up in the Northwest as well as in the Southeast with different pilot districts there as well. Lastly, I want to just talk about CJCP. We lost our dear friend, the exemplar of professionalism, Mel Wright. Mel and his wife, Jo, were just so much a part of our judicial branch and the Chief Justice Commission on Professionalism from its founding. Mel was the epitome of professionalism everywhere he went, and we will miss him, a huge void there. Jimbo Perry had been trained by Mel before Mel retired, and Jimbo, of course, is meeting with folks all over the state, particularly on the legal desert issue. 48 of our 100 counties do not have or have less than one attorney per 1,000 people. We call that a legal desert. We've worked with innovative ideas, developing mentorship programs and things like that. Last thing, I thought, well, the last thing was almost the last thing. This is the last thing. I had the opportunity recently to be in Charlotte to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the MECDEC. And yes, we're moving into the 250th celebrations across our nation, but being one of the original colonies, we have a lot more history than a lot of the other states. And for those of you that don't know, the top yellow ribbon on our state flag over here, May 20, 1775, is the MECDEC, okay? But there's controversy about it. Did it really happen or not? Okay? I'll go ahead and tell you I'm a believer. I believe the MECDEC actually happened. But how better to celebrate that than to have a moot court competition? And we did that statewide The State Bar was very helpful in this process, as well as the Professionalism Commission. We had high school students from across the state competing. They had to argue the MEC deck is real, the MEC deck is not real. And to have that argued by the 8 finalists, well, let's see, the 4 finalist teams in Charlotte at the federal building there, federal courthouse, was quite the treat. As we do, as our state constitution reminds us, a frequent recurrence to fundamental principles is absolutely necessary to preserve the blessings of liberty. I thank you for all that you do to help us preserve the blessings of liberty. Thank you.
Thank you for that message, Chief Justice Newby. We really appreciate you being with us today. Before we close, I'd like to take a moment to express my sincere thanks to all of you. Last year, during our annual meeting in Charlotte, we announced the Open Door Fund and our goal to raise $1 million to endow that fund. The Open Door Fund supports the Open Door Fellowship, a unique competitive opportunity for first-year North Carolina law students who are historically underrepresented in the legal profession, including first-generation college students and those from disadvantaged socioeconomic backgrounds. Our Open Door Fellows participate in a paid summer program providing an opportunity to gain experience in a legal work setting. Through the Open Door Fellowship, students are not only offered a paid opportunity, but they also become part of the NCBA and CBF community, witnessing and participating in the work we do to support the profession in service to the public. Our Open Door Fellows become part of a special group of Open Door alumni, and we look forward to watching that group grow over many years to come. I'd like to introduce our current Open Door Fellows for the 2025 year. Both are students at Campbell Law School. Please stand, Susie Lagunas and Josh Peacock. I also want to recognize Open Door alumni April Franklin, Darius Alexander, and Tavaria Smith. Please stand. I'm so pleased to be able to share with you that we not only met our goal, but we exceeded it because of many of you in this room. I'd like to extend a special thanks to our Open Door Fund founding donors. You'll see their names up on the screens. And I am especially grateful to Mark Holt and Karen McNeil for co-chairing this impactful effort. Thank you for your unwavering leadership and support of the Open Door Fund. We would not have exceeded this ambitious $1 million goal for the Open Door Fund without your commitment. It's noteworthy that the foundation has raised this amount for program-specific funding for the very first time. Thank you for leading that charge. I'd also like to thank past presidents Clayton Morgan and Patty Ramser for their leadership and support of the Open Door Fund and Fellowship during their time serving as NCBA and CBF president. Thank you for making an impact that will be felt through our profession for generations to come. Finally, speaking of impact, we've heard great presentations this morning regarding disaster legal services, and it's important to emphasize that that work is funded largely by your contributions. It is not funded by your bar dues. At your place setting, there is a card. We are currently less than $25,000 away from hitting our annual fund goal. This QR code right here in front of you will enable you to make a gift to the annual fund. And if you give to the disaster legal services effort, it applies to our annual fund. It will take less than 2 minutes, so I just encourage you now to pull out your phones and make a gift in support of this incredibly important work. Thank you for your consideration. And now I leave you with a few announcements. At this time, we've reached the conclusion of the business session of our annual meeting, and I am grateful we could all gather here today. Up next, Catherine Reach of the Center for Practice Management is holding office hours from 3 to 5, so stop by the Oakland Heights room on the 12th floor to discuss your practice management needs. And from 4 to 5:30 this afternoon, our communities groups, sections, divisions, and committees are having a social at the top of the Plaza Hotel. And later this evening, we'll have our president's reception, awards dinner, and presidential installation. As a reminder, you must be pre-registered for this event. And don't forget to visit our sponsors. We are incredibly appreciative of their support. Thank you for participating in the 127th annual meeting of the North Carolina Bar Association. The business session of the North Carolina Bar Association annual meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.